love, peace, and soul. This is a special that I want to start initiating and start doing for my master VIPs because I truly appreciate y'all and I feel like I've been shortchanging y'all. So y'all gonna start to see more collegiate level, more deeper occult studies. We're gonna start going more deeper into the moon phases. And soon, when I get the right proper equipment, I'm gonna start doing live streaming straight from Patreon. So that way it's us in a closed group and it's like we're actually in a classroom type of setting. Okay. So I got this dope ass book, y'all. Hold on. I got a dope ass book, right? And it goes deep into the moon phases, right? And I was like, all right, let's go deeper into this new moon in Pisces, right? So this is a little extra than because I'm gonna do a reading, y'all gonna see that on YouTube. But this book right here, honey, is a deep book. And we're gonna talk about this new moon in Pisces because it's a mixed bag, okay? It's heavily aspected to Venus, that's in Pisces, and also Neptune, that's in Pisces. So there's going to be a lot of energy around money, around escapism, hedonism, around so-called illusions, your psychic abilities. All of these things are going to be coming into play. Your dreams and aspirations, things that you want to initiate, right? And I've been hearing a lot of, like be careful because there's a lot of fog, there's a lot of illusion, there's a lot of things that are not going to be clear. But I feel like that's the energy of Pisces, of like things may not be clear, like the actual path, like how the manifestation is actually going to come. But it's the belief and also the knowing, because Aquarius is the knower. Again, the astrology wheel is a snowball effect, a spiral. So that means the energy of Aquarius is housed within Pisces. So Pisces, the reason why Pisces believes is because Pisces knows. That's why Pisces has that ultimate belief in themselves or needing to, or the belief in the spirit realm. And that things will, like, Pisces won't get caught up into the physical, environmental stimuli of how things look. Okay. So I'm going to read a little bit. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'm going to read a little bit from this excerpt about it's called the Dreamer's moon. Okay. So the new moon in Pisces begins with the dreamer, the child who walks around all the time in another world. We all know one of those. Perhaps we are one of those. To the dreamer, reality is not fixed in one state. This is a reflection of Neptune's influence on the moon. And even more so because Neptune is in Pisces right now. Okay, so this is why we are in some apocalyptic time, because the stars are aligned to be so. Neptune's influence only on anything will blur its edges and prevent whoever's affected from figuring out where they end and anything else begins. Neptune, like the moon, which is also watery, changeable, heedless, headless of boundaries. When the two of them get together, the result is a story about people who will never quite know where all their edges are. So what that's speaking to is also knowing that we are knowing and also the belief that the collective consciousness, right? That's also an aspect of Aquarius. We got Saturn and Jupiter in Aquarius. You know what I mean? That there's a source of spiritual well that we're all tapped into. And that separation is an illusion. The dreamer is especially naive about this process. He is barely able to figure out what's real and what's his imagination. The flowers and trees speak to him. When the leaves fall from the trees, he weeps for them. A bad dream can ruin his whole day as he wonders if it's prophetic. Even if he knows it's not, he'll still jump at shadows, which is so true. Like when listen, because I know my dreams are prophetic. So it's true. When I do have a bad dream, I'm like, well, I hope that one doesn't come to fruition. We not claiming that. But then you see, this is the power of the mind. This is the power of the subconscious and unconscious mind, because then you can be able to program your subconscious to be able to close that energy out, to close that timeline out. So that way it doesn't come to fruition. Or you take the steps in your waking life so that way it doesn't come to fruition, right? To be blunt, his relationships with people are fraught with problems. He generally goes quietly along with what they want, and they think he's malleable enough until he opens his mouth. Then they generally decide that he's crazy. He's easily intimidated by people and easily pushed into doing things he doesn't want to do. Most of them want him to listen to them because there's something soothing about his nodding acceptance of whatever they spout, but they aren't willing to return the favor. He seems distant to them, off in his own world. The dreamer himself writes, has difficulty articulating his feelings in ways that can be understood. He writes poetry, but it's not anything that anyone can understand. He feels himself to be terribly misunderstood, and he's probably right. As the Taurus story is characterized by movement toward and away from nature, hold on. The Pisces story is about movement toward and away from reality. This is so deep because we have to look at the word reality, okay? Excuse me. Is it 3D reality? Is it spiritual reality? Is it personal reality? Is it interdimensional reality? Okay. So this is what we are looking at here. Like, are we tapping into... Oh, sorry. Oh, excuse me. Right? So we have to tap into this story, right? Whether we have this natal placement or not. We're all being affected by these aspects. Okay? So, damn, hold on. Okay, Pisces. So I had to pull up Google, right? Because I wanted to look up, I don't know if y'all can see, reality, right? So it says the world or the state of things as they actually exist, as opposed to an idealistic or notion of them. The state or quality of having existence. Okay, this is the second one. The state or quality of having existence or substance. It's the state or quality of having existence. So it's the state or it's moving towards and away, right? The state in which we're living in right now, okay? Which is apocalyptic world, CV world, restrictions on this, restrictions on that. You know what I mean? So we're going. What this moon is bringing about is like a lot of us are, we want to get away from a lot of restrictions that have been placed on us, right? It says, the next sentence says, the dreamer lives half in and half out of the real world and finds it less desirable than his own internal reality. He seeks it out more and more, which impairs his relationships further. At the relationships too, and money, because Venus is in Pisces too. So all of this is aspected, okay? At the same time, he scatters behind him bits of inspiration that are picked up by others and made into fanciful art. Okay, so being the innovators that we are, right? We leave behind inspiration in the real world. Okay, especially those of us who are spiritually gifted, because we're in the world. We're not of the world, right? So we're able to tap into the matrix when we need to, and we're able to tap out when we need to. In us doing so, we inspire others to do the same. And he, even though he gets no credit, but doesn't care much because he has more, that he can produce anyway. This is not a moon for concrete planning. That will have to come from elsewhere in the chart. The dreamer's emotional satisfaction comes from the castles in the sky, not necessarily requiring that they be made solid. After all, they are practically real for him. On the dreamer's moon, we dream. It's a good time for reading and writing fantasy or for utopian politics. Spend all the time you can afford daydreaming. It's not a time for practical planning. Instead, write down what you wish was in the world without regard to pessimism or practicality. Write down. So this is when you start to plan and write down how you want to see your reality look like. Again, this is the belief, right? Because you're like, you know what? I believe that I can co-create with the universe to create what I want, irrespective of practicality, irrespective of, okay, well, I'm gonna have to go to school 4 years to get a degree, to go do this and to go do that. No, that's not Pisces energy. Pisces energy is I can do that based off of tapping into my imagination, tapping into my mind, into my intuition, what I know, about this reality and planes of existence, and knowing that there are other planes of existence, that there are other timelines that I can draw. This is how you tap into the other timelines, because you realize that, in this reality, I may not have $1 million, but in timeline 44, I may be a millionaire. So I can tap in, I can write that storyline out, or even just sit and daydream about it and imagine it into existence. It says it's not a time for concrete planning, but you can still basically envision it. See the vision. See the vision of how you want this to go about. Yeah, that's for another time. That's more maybe Virgo energy, Taurus energy coming up soon, where you can actually start to see it form, and Capricorn, or even fixed energy. You know what I mean? With Leo, Aquarius, and Scorpio energy. But right now, this is tapping into the different timelines and the different planes of existence, and even creating them. Okay? Then wish hard, or clap your hands, or click your heels together 3 times, or whatever else comes to mind. Don't let the rational side of your mind get in the way. Whatever you do, have faith. The Pisces strength is believing. People born under the Dreamer's moon have emotional responses that are a little off from reality. They shed ideas all over the place, but unless there are practical aspects in the chart, they don't even do much with them. They do seem a little distant emotionally. They get that far away look in their eyes, and their loved ones aren't quite sure that they're still on the same planet. Like all the Pisces moons, they have trouble drawing boundaries and keeping out from under the will of others. But Dreamer's moon people are actually less vague about that than those born to other Pisces moons. The Dreamers love their dreams too much to be routed away from them for too long by other people's desires. So they frequently slip through their fingers and go off to their own wondrous places. If their circumstances are bad, they will use dreaming as their coping mechanism in place to withdraw. Like Walter Mitty, they can survive almost anything if they spend enough time mentally chasing rainbows. So again, this is the new moon, okay? So that means that they have their sun in Pisces. These are people, we're talking about natally. If you have a natal Pisces moon and you were born in Pisces, then your sun is in Pisces, that means you were born underneath the auspicious energy of the new moon energy, okay? Which makes you, even more special, right? But then there are some quotes, okay? I shut my eyes in order to see. That's deep, right? Now, world losers and world forsakers, for whom the pale moon gleams, yet we are the movers and shakers of the world forever, it seems. Sometimes you wake up, sometimes the fall kills you, and sometimes when you fall, you fly. I'm going to read that again. Sometimes you wake up, sometimes the fall kills you, and sometimes when you fall, you fly. How many times has that happened to you in a dream state, especially in a dream state, where I've done that. I've fallen upward, and I was so scared to let. I remember I was actually holding on, and my body was attempting to fly away, but I was holding myself down. Okay, why? Because I'm thinking I was in this plane of existence when I was actually in the dream realm and in the whole astral realm, a whole nother state where I could just fly and let go. And I remember everybody was like, just let go, just let go. Would you let go? Right? Sometimes you wake up when you so-called fall. Sometimes the fall kills you, right? Here we go. Sleepers awake. Sleep is separateness. The cave of solitude is the cave of dreams, the cave of the passive spectator. To be awake is to participate carnally and not in fantasy. In the feast, the great communion. Now, with that one, I feel like this is talking about your level of consciousness, of course. You know, to be asleep is to be separate. This is when you don't realize that you are a part of the collective consciousness, right? And then to be awake is to participate in the collective consciousness through, it says carnally. So yes, through your vessel, because we all have a vessel, to carnally express who we are, who source is through us carnally and not in fantasy. Wow, this is dope. My life has no purpose, no direction, no aim, no meaning, and yet I'm happy. I can't figure it out. What am I doing right? What you're doing right is that you're not getting caught up in the social mores. You're not getting caught up in the illusion of the matrix. See, we got to look. That's why I'm like, everybody's saying like, don't get caught up, you know, the stimulus, and there's going to be a whole bunch of hidden stuff and clauses and all of this stuff. Don't make any concrete plans right now. Blah, 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 blah. It even came out in the divine, what was it? The Ascended Masters reading I did on YouTube, where the divine feminine was in a state of gratitude. You know what I'm saying? Because we know where our abundance and bliss stems from. It doesn't stem from the material realm. It stems from the spiritual realm. So that's what you're doing right. You're more concerned with your connection to the metaphysical than this 3D matrix, because the 3D matrix is the illusion, not the dream realm, not your imagination. If anything, that come on now. I'll see. This is why I wish I was live. I'm gonna get it together where we could do this live. All right, because this is so deep right now. The man who listens to reason is lost. Reason enslaves all whose minds are not strong enough to master. And it said her. Reason. The man who listens to reason is lost. Reason enslaves all whose minds are not strong enough to master. Meaning, what is reason? Let's look that one up. Let's look that up. Muggy, what's this passcode over here? Girl. Oh, I got it. I got it. Let's look up reason. Definition. Okay, a cause, explanation, or justification for action or event. And then number 2 is the power of the mind to think, understand, and form judgments by a process of logic. Okay, so to master her, exactly, because what? That's left brain. I mean, that's all right brain. Wait. That's left brain, left brain, left brain, left brain. That's all left brain. Okay? Logic, right? To form judgments. And you're forming judgments based on what? Okay? And you're explaining and justifying what? When this is an illusion. So you're justifying an illusion. Let's get deep now. Let's get deep. No man who has no inner life is the slave of his surroundings. Wow. If you don't have no inner life, you're the slave of your surrounding. You're the slave to this 3D realm, to the matrix. If you don't have that imagination, then of course, this is why a lot of people are getting caught up with this quarantine situation, because they can't fathom a life other than what they have been living. Ooh. You got to be able to fathom a whole nother life for yourself. A dreamer is one who can only find his way by moonlight, and his punishment is that he sees the dawn before the rest of the world. That's also those of us that be up at that witching hour. That is so true, because it's a perspective that not many people get to see. The dream was always running ahead of me to catch up, to live for a moment in unison with it. That was the miracle. If you are a dreamer, a wisher, a liar, a hoper, a prayer, a magic bean buyer, if you're a pretender, come sit by my fire, for we have some flax golden tales to spin. That's all Pisces energy. You know that Pisces are pathological motherfucking liars. Shit. Ooh-wee. Pathological liars. And they believe they fucking lies too. That's what it is. That's why. A pretender. Come sit by my fire, honey. Listen. Then I had to pull up Moon conjunct Neptune, right? Because I wanted to see. I'm like, yeah, because this moon is conjunct. Even if it's not the same to the same degree, there's still an orb aspect. Okay. So we have the moon conjunct Neptune shows you that you're now they're talking about natally, but either way, this is the energy that we're going to be embodying. You're imaginative, emotional, sensitive, and sometimes given to daydreaming. Your psychic ability enables you to respond to outside stimuli that others are unaware of. You are inclined to offer assistance to anyone who seems to need help. However, this may get you into difficulty, for some people will blame you if their problems aren't solved. Disappointments are common in your life, for even though you suffer from others and their grief, you may be left alone when they experience joy. That's deep. Your professional life must have significant challenge to keep you alert and responsibly on the go. Avoid any occupation that involves long periods of time spent in repetitious, boring tasks. In such a job, you would find escape in daydreaming and dawdling and would accomplish little. You would probably be fired as lazy. Oh shit. Your latent ability should find an outlet through public-oriented endeavors such as service and welfare programs, nursing, working with the mentally retarded, the rehabilitation of the handicapped. Working closely with others who depend on you would serve as a catalyst for your energies. Wow, that's dope. Your love nature is extremely romantic. Makes sense too with this Venus here. And it truly is difficult for anyone to measure up to your expectations. Wow. Okay, let's look up Venus conjunct Neptune. Or even, hold on, we can even look up Moon conjunct Venus. Hold on. Let's look that up first. The moon conjunct Venus shows that you relate to people easily and without pretense. You don't necessarily wait for the other people to make the first gesture to meet you, for you know that this is a difficult for some. When you meet someone, you are willing to make adjustments if it will. See, this is talking about natally, though. This is not talking about generally or transitly, in a transit. Yeah. And it talks about, okay, you can succeed at any occupation that requires you to come before the public. You gain people's confidence because you demonstrate a genuine interest in their affairs. That's dope. And then let's look at Venus conjunct Neptune. With Venus conjunct Neptune, you are a romantic idealist. Your trusting nature makes you vulnerable to deceptive individuals who may try to take advantage of you. You have a kind of delicacy and aesthetic refinement that finds comfort in art, music, and literature. You are artistically imaginative and thus find beauty where others cannot. Your tender qualities are best suited in professions in which calm conditions are the rule. Avoid any occupation in which turmoil or aggressive behavior is expected, for you will find this intolerable. Any of the non-physical arts such as music, writing, fashion, or cultural functions would be suitable expressions of your creativity. So I feel like the whole purpose of these types of transits is to bring these types of energies out. Okay, even if we don't have them natally, it will provoke these things within us. And it's like, oh, well, it's not going to be solid for right now. But because now you're able to now fathom another way of life, this could be able to propel you to go into a profession that is tolerable, that will suit your needs. Because we're going through the transit of Venus conjunct Neptune. Or the moon conjunct Venus, or the moon conjuncting Neptune. You understand what I'm saying? Because now you're able to be, and then any other time of the year, you would have just get along for the get along. Get along because you're getting a check, because it's what's practical. You know what I mean? Like, well, I need to pay bills, so I might as well just stay at this job. I got to pay bills. But because we're going through this aspect of imagine more for your life, that is going to propel you to be like, you know what? I believe in myself. I believe in the fact that I can make that a reality in this matrix realm. Especially, again, those of us who are true magicians. Those of us who are true master, adept, ascended masters. Those of us who go through the study and we're able to now apply the knowledge that we know and then take advantage of the transits of what's going on right now. Okay? Don't make any solid plans. But you receiving that catalyst of, I can fathom another way of making money, Venus. I can fathom another way of making money through my artistic endeavors, my artistic gifts. With me being able to be creative and what I can fathom up and dream up. Shit, we're in the age now where there's 3D printers that can print up whatever you program the fucking printer to do. Things can materialize in front of your eyes just from a machine. That's what 3D printers do. Who imagined that invention? So I say, no, I think we need to take advantage of this new moon in Pisces in that way. With it, yes, conjuncting the illusion of Neptune. What dreams am I having? And you'll be like, damn, that was some wild ass shit. That ain't gonna happen in this realm. Why not? May not actually physically, but maybe you might write a script for a TV show with what you dream up. with the imagination, or what comes up and stems from your imagination and what you can fathom up. Yeah, maybe you can't literally fly, so called, like right now, just start levitating in the air, you know what I'm saying, midway, right now, this second, but you could write a screenplay. You could write, you know what I'm saying? You could be the one to write a black magician show. You know what I'm saying? Like, write the whole script for that. All of that. There's no limit. And this is what Pisces is showing us. So with that, I'm just going to keep this a little short and sweet. But I want to start doing this for my master VIP. We're going to start going more into depth and into conversation about this. So y'all could comment still underneath the videos too here on Patreon. So please leave a comment. Let me know what y'all think about this. You know, give me some feedback, how I can improve it, what we can incorporate, or just your thoughts about what I read. All right. And I appreciate y'all so much. I love y'all. And I'm going to see y'all in the check-in. Peace.